When Martin received a letter informing him that his uncle had passed away and left him a farm, he was surprised. He hadn't seen the man in over a decade. But his childhood memories of the farm were warm. His uncle, a kind soul, always gave more than he took. For Martin, worn out by the cold indifference of city life, this inheritance felt like a quiet blessing. He packed up what little he had and moved to the countryside, expecting solitude, hard work, and maybe, just maybe, a little peace. But what he found was far from lonely. The town welcomed him with open arms. Every smile was genuine. Every handshake sincere. People stopped him in the streets to speak fondly about his uncle. A generous man, they all said. He fed us all. The farm was massive, and the garden was beautiful, overflowing with fruits, vegetables, and flowers of every kind. But what surprised Martin most was that the entire village used the farm freely. They came in the morning, picked what they needed, and left with baskets full, only to return the next day. They sold what they harvested at the markets and made a living out of it. No one stole. No one hoarded. It was harmonious. And then there was her, Lila. She had kind eyes and a smile that warmed him from the inside. They spoke briefly that first day, and the next morning she offered to walk with him and show him the farm in full. They strolled for hours, passing through lush rows of crops and flowers. But the further they went, the richer the land became. Leaves shimmered. The fruits were large and ripe. The soil smelled sweet and rich. It was paradise. Eventually, they reached a strange spot, a perfectly circular patch of barren earth right in the middle of the lush farm. No grass. No weeds. Just a ring of dead soil. What's this? Martin asked. Lila smiled, but it didn't reach her eyes. Oh, just decoration. Your uncle had plans to build something there, a gazebo or a fountain, I think. But you know how things go. He never got around to it. That night, Martin couldn't sleep. The mansion was new and modern. Soft bed. Clean sheets. Warm lighting. But something felt off. Not in the house, but in the land. He chuckled to himself. No way I'm going out into the fields in the middle of the night like some horror movie idiot, he thought. He put on his headphones, played music, and let exhaustion pull him under. The next morning, after a quiet breakfast, he made a decision. He was going to check the center of the farm. Lila met him again on the path, glowing as ever. My parents baked apple pie. Want to come over? She asked sweetly. He smiled but lied. I'm not feeling too great. Maybe another time. She nodded politely and didn't push. As Martin walked deeper into the farm, something felt different. The villagers were out again, smiling, laughing, chatting, but they seemed more persistent. More eager to talk. More interested in distracting him. One man brought over some stew. Another, stories about the past. One even began singing a song his uncle used to hum. It was all so lovely. Too lovely. He finally reached the patch of dead earth. The villagers didn't follow him in. He looked around. Everyone else had gone back to tending the farm. As if nothing was strange. The ground felt firm beneath his feet, too firm. He knelt down and placed a hand on the soil. Something was beneath it. Wood. Curious, Martin began scraping away the dirt. A few inches down, he uncovered a large circular wooden hatch. Right in the center was a small metal button. Without thinking, he pressed it. The hatch opened with a slow hiss. Inside was a horror he couldn't comprehend. His uncle. Still alive. Hanging. Suspended by long, vine-like tendrils that pulsed and writhed. They were inside him, inside his arms, legs, neck. Even one was rammed deep down his throat, pumping something thick and brown into him. His eyes locked onto Martin's. Desperate. Pleading. Martin, panicked, grabbed the vine in his uncle's mouth and pulled. It came out with a sickening squelch, like ripping out a root from flesh. His uncle gasped. There, feeding off me, the farm. It grows with my blood, he whispered. Martin froze. He looked around the underground chamber. Veins, no, roots, spread out in every direction from the center. Pulsing. Glowing faintly. He could see it now. The closer the crops were to this place, the more vibrant they were. The further out, the more ordinary. The farm was being fed by his uncle. Literally. He turned back and began tearing more vines away, trying to free him. But his uncle suddenly screamed, behind you." Martin spun around. The entire village stood at the edge of the circle, staring. Every single one. Their smiles were gone. Their eyes were brown, deep and unnatural. Their pupils, milky white. Their foreheads pulsed and bulged with thick veins, as if something beneath the skin was trying to burst free. They said nothing. But Martin heard it. Not with his ears. In his mind. All of them. At once. If only you left it alone. The whisper was deafening. And then ear silence. To be continued. Wait for part 2.